Hello, how is everybody doing today? This is Mickey. Well, today Adobe released some new upgrades to Lightroom Classic and Lightroom. If you use Lightroom Classic, it's going to be version 14.4. If you use Lightroom, it's going to be version 8.4. And as you know, we talk about Lightroom Classic on this channel, so that's what we're going to cover today. Now, these changes we actually talked about a couple weeks ago in a prior video, and I'll put that link in the comments below if you want to look at it. And some of these features were found in Adobe Camera Raw. Well, that was kind of a preview in Adobe Camera Raw, and Adobe decided to move them right into Lightroom and Lightroom Classic and make them available on those platforms. And we really appreciate it because they're really nice improvements. And the improvements that we're talking about, first of all, is distraction removal, removing reflections or removing people using AI. We also have a much improved way to decrease noise and increase sharpening in Lightroom Classic. The way that it works now, Lightroom Classic creates a DNG file, which then you process as a noise reduction or increased sharpening. But with this new feature, it doesn't create a DNG file, it actually processes the raw file non-destructively by reducing noise and increasing sharpness at the same time. You could see it happening at the same time instead of doing one and doing the other. And the final thing they did was kind of a little help feature. Remember, we've talked about in the past, you get that little red dot that says your AI maps are out of sync. Now they've given us a tool to see more easily when those out of sync occasions happen and how to fix them all at one time. So let's dig right in and look at these new features so you can get out there on your photos and start trying it out to see what these improvements will do for your photographs. Okay, the first one we want to talk about is reflection removal. And here we have a picture here with a really nice reflection in the plate glass window in front of this cheese shop. You're going to find the reflection removal under your removal tool, and you'll see you'll have distractions removal. It might be shut down. If not, just turn down the little arrow and you see we have reflections and we have people. So we're going to open up reflections. And the first thing you see, we have an apply button, a slider, and then we have a quality of the action that we're going to be doing. So by clicking on the apply button, you start the action of the reflection removal. And as you can see, it removed the reflections right away. Now the slider here is basically, it's not really an opacity slider because that's what it appears to be when you start to use it. But as you move the slider left and right, Lightroom is showing you what it has done to give you the picture that you're looking at currently. So if we move all the way to the left, it shows us what the reflections are that it's acting on. If we move to the center, you can see the picture that we started with the distracting reflections along with the photograph. And if we move all the way to the right, it's with the distractions removed or the reflections removed. Down below, we have a quality and we have preview, standard, and best. Of course, the reflections will be cleaned up a little better in standard, and they'll be cleaned up the best way under best. I just have to remind you that each time we choose a better version, you're going to spend more time, up to 2 or 3 minutes, when you choose instead of preview, you choose best. Now, when we apply this, we can keep preview if that looks good enough for you, or you can just choose standard, and it does the standard changes right here, or if you choose best. If you want to see what it looks like before and after, we have our little eyeball here. We can turn on and off, on and off. And if you just want to reset it back to the way it was, you just hit the reset button and everything goes back the way it was before you use this reflection removal. Now, while this is a really good tool at removing reflections, you have to remember that every picture that has a reflection is going to be affected in different ways. So if we look at like this second picture here and we hit reflection removal, you see that it's not quite as good. So it really depends on the quality of the photograph. It also depends on what type of reflection it is. Now, keeping that in mind, there are 3 tips that Adobe gives us about this new tool. So let me go back to this other picture because that one looks a little better. And first of all, the model for this reflection distraction uses the entire image. So you can crop beforehand or after. It doesn't matter. Adobe reflection removal is going to use the entire photograph to get its result. And also remember, this is the first iteration of this tech, and it's been designed to remove reflection from plate glass windows. It's not designed for small windows or windows that are off in the distance and far away. And it's not made to remove reflections in objects such as cars or maybe glassware. And finally, most importantly, reflection removal is not generative. It won't be creating objects that weren't present in the original photograph. So that's why we see when we move our slider to the left, we're seeing this is what Lightroom thinks is a reflection, and that's what it's going to remove. And that's where we see the reflection removal. It's not going to generate any special objects, any extra objects, or add things because it's non-generative. It's just the distraction removal of reflections. All right, let's move on to our second distraction tool, and that's people. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up. Every photograph that you run through distraction people removal, it's going to make different selections of people. It's very subjective. It likes to keep people that it thinks is a primary subject and remove the ones that are distraction. How the logic works, I really don't know, but we have ways to straighten it up in case you don't like the choices that it's made. We'll look at three quick ones here so we can see what the distraction tool is doing. To activate it, all we're going to do is click on the People tab, and it automatically just starts detecting people. Now here you can see we've detected a group on the bridge here and a couple people here, here, and here, but they left this gentleman thinking that it's a primary subject. We don't want to remove that. That might not be your decision, but we can straighten this out. Now, with each object that is removed, each person, you have a little tab here, a little eraser mark. And if we want to keep anybody, all we have to do is click the eraser mark and click on the trash can right here, and it removes the mask. And say we want to keep this gentleman, and hit the trash can. All right, so we want to remove everybody else. But in essence, we really want to remove this guy too. Now, you can do that, but not with this tool, and I'll show you how we do this later. It's all joined together with this remove tool. We have the one we're familiar with, and then this new one with people. Once you've decided the people that you want to keep or remove, you're going to hit remove. And then it's going to run the generative AI and remove those objects or those people. So as you can see, it's removed everybody. Now, if you find one that just really, like this, looks a little funky to me, you can click on the little icon here, the little eraser icon, and go back and see three kind of generations. So we have 1 through 3. So let's look at the second and third. If you don't like any of them, all you have to do is hit the generate button, and it'll regenerate for that specific area. And it looks like it wants to put a trash can or something there, or maybe another person. And you can keep hitting regenerate. If that doesn't fit your needs too, again, as we continue to remove everything, we can fix this too. So we'll say that we're happy with this right here, except for the fact I don't want this man and I don't want this trash can or whatever this is right here. So our next move is to go up to our generative AI remove up here, and now we're going to make the selection of what we want removed. There's no way to add these selections to the distraction removal tool. We have to do it separately under the AI generative remove tool. So we'll click remove. That looks good. And now we're going to go to this one, and we're going to remove this. So even though we have the distraction removal, see, it's still just giving us heck here. Let's try it one more time. Even though we had this distraction tool, we can't just depend on one single tool like the people distraction removal. We have to use our other resources too. Again, this is going to be tricky. We might clone it or just maybe go into Photoshop and try the removal tool there. But that's basically how this works. Now, like I was saying, every picture is different when it comes to people removal. So we're going to go to the people removal here, and we are going to go to the next picture. And you can see it has selected everybody in 2 different groups. So we couldn't single out anybody here. We'd have to either remove all of them or none of them, the same way here. If we go to this next one, this is a good example. You can see it thinks these 2 people are the distraction, and these people up close or primary, so it doesn't remove that. And for some reason, it's got this over here. So we don't want to use this. So I'm going to click here and click the trash can and remove it. These others, like I said, we can't add with this tool. We can go ahead and run the remove. And then if we wanted to remove other people, like I would like to remove this person and I would like to remove this person. So we're going to go under our generative AI remove, and we're going to select the people we want to remove. So I want to remove this lady right here, and I'm going to do them separately because I might want to regenerate. If I do two at one time, I can't regenerate one of the two. So I'm going to click remove. And that looks good. Now I'm going to go to my second person and highlight them. Make sure you get shadows, all objects, feet, hands, everything, so it has something to work with, about like this. I'm going to hit remove for this. And we left a little spot, so it drew somebody else in there, so let's hit remove there. There we go. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that the distraction removal people is really good, but it might not make the selections you would have made for the people you wanted to keep and the ones you wanted to remove. So if that happens, then you just have to shift to plan B, remove the people using the removal tool, and then come up to your AI removal tool and finish cleaning up what you need to do. All right, what I want to show you now is the changes we have in denoise, and I really, really like these changes, and I think you are too, and I think it's going to push our third-party people that have noise reduction a little harder because it is a really nice process in Lightroom now, and you don't have to go to a third party. To find the new denoise function, it's going to be under the details section of your tab in the basic panel, and you can see we have denoise, raw details, and super resolution, the same as we did before. It's just in a different interface. And we also have our sharpening, and you see these are all in the same panel, which means we can use them all at the same time now. Like I mentioned before, when we use denoise, it would generate a DNG file, and then you would slide your denoise slider back and forth to see what you want, and all you got was a little preview window. You couldn't even see the whole picture. But now we can see the actual raw file because denoise acts on the raw file. It no longer creates a DNG. In addition to that, we can see the sharpening and have all the same controls that we had before, but we can see it in live action along with the denoise. So we're going to zoom in a little bit on this picture so we can see the noise here on the wall, and we can see that these look a little blurry, our books do. And we're going to click on the denoise, and you can see I have the slider set at probably like 30%, maybe 20%, 24%. And if I wanted to decrease or increase the noise, decrease the noise, I'm going to slide it. And as you can see, I can see the noise going away all the way to where it gets kind of buttery. We don't want to go that far. Let's say we're only going to go to maybe 30%, and that looks pretty good. All right, if we turn the eyeball off, on, it's done a really good job. But now we can sharpen. So let's go to our amount sharpening. We're going to crank this up to like 70%. Our radius about there, and I'm going to take the detail up to about 70% too. And you can see that we are sharpening, but we're bringing noise back in. But we still have that good masking tool. We hold our Option key down, and we slide this masking tool till we just get the edges of the objects that we want to sharpen, about right there. So now we're not hitting the areas that needed the noise reduction, but we are hitting the areas that we wanted to sharpen. And if I turn this off, on, off, and on, you can see what a great job it's doing now. So it's just really nice. We don't have that little preview window anymore. We get to see the actual raw file as we use our noise reduction and sharpening to get it just the way we want within Lightroom, and we're not having to go to a third-party software to do it. Really, really good improvement in this Lightroom feature. All right, last thing here. Let's look at what tool they've given us to let us know we're using AI masking or AI profiles and when they get out of sync. Now, prior to this, we had a little red dot that would show up under the masking icon, or a little red dot that would show up under the basic panel. And then you would have to click on the update button or go to the masks themselves and hit update AI mask. Now we have a new icon, and I know people have been looking at this and going, what the heck is this? A new icon in our bar, and they didn't even tell us about it. It is a little icon that lets us know when you're using an AI mask, and it will turn white. It will stay white as long as all the masks are in sync. When they're out of sync, it will turn yellow, and then it gives us the tools to straighten this up. So let's start out with, let's throw an AI profile on. We'll use adaptive color. We'll throw a sky mask on and just brighten it up just a little bit like this. And then we're going to go to our AI remove tool, and we're going to remove some distractions over here. We're going to move these headstones that are near the edge, and I want them gone. Now you notice we put this AI adaptive profile in place, and our little icon lit up. So now that now it tells us you're using some AI masking our profiles. But now we're going to put an AI a deletion in here, and that's going to conflict with the profile, the AI profile. So let's hit remove. It's going to go ahead and remove using AI over the top of the AI adaptive profile, color profile. And as you can see, we now have a yellow icon letting us know that there's a problem. All we have to do is click on this icon, and it shows us the things that we've done. If it's highlighted in yellow, then it needs to be resynced. Now, Adobe requests that you do it one at a time, and to resync this, to fix it, you're just going to click on this little circle of arrow icon. When you do that, this window is going to go away, and they want you to check the picture and make sure everything looks okay. Then you're going to click on this little yellow icon again, and you'll then have the little circle for masking, and you can reset that. I have never really found that masks that got out of sync, once you sync them, that I had any problems, and Adobe realizes that too. And if you have a lot of masks that are out of sync, they do give you this button right here, update all. When you do that, it will update this and this at the same time. But just for the sake of the demonstration, let me just show you what happens. So we're going to click on this icon. It's going to regenerate or resync that mask, and as you can see, it just took a second, but we still have this little yellow icon up here. If we click on this again, we now have the resync button under masking, and we click on this, it'll resync that, and we're all done. Now if we click on this again, it still shows us what we're using AI with, masking, adaptive profile, and remove, but everything's in sync, so we have no yellow outlines and we have no yellow icon up there. Just a really quick way to see what's going on with your AI masking and how to get it all back in sync. Nice little tool. Well, there you have it. Those are some of the changes that Lightroom has brought in this upgrade to help us with our processing. The distraction removal of people and reflection, that's something new. It's something that it'll improve over time, but it's a really great help. And of course, I love the noise removal and sharpening because they've given it to the raw file instead of making a DNG, and we can see it in real time on the full picture, which really helps in reducing noise and bring sharpness to our photographs. We don't have to use any third-party software. Also, the AI Mask Sync Cleanup tool, let us know when we're out of sync. That's just a great tool to help speed our workflow along. And of course, there's other things that they've added, like with Fuji cameras, you now have tethering, which is something professionals have been asking for a time. We got bug fixes and speed fixes in Lightroom that helps processing a little better. If you want to know about everything in this, I'll put a link down below showing the note in the Adobe Help of what kind of fixes were all included in this upgrade, and you can read it at your leisure and maybe find some finer points of some of the processing. I hope everybody has a good week, and I will talk to you soon.